Okay, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is stats and reforging. As a boomkin, you're going to make sure, or as any PvP class, you're going to want to make sure you always have 4% hit chance, so obviously you don't miss. Second thing is making sure you always have 195 spell penetration. The way I get mine is with the neck piece, which gives me 254. Obviously it's a lot more than you need, but that's just the way I've chosen to do it. You can also do it through gems or the spell pen cape if you wish. Okay, so I'm not too sure about PvE, but for PvP, boomies are either going into Haste or crit chance. Me personally, I'm going into Haste, so that I have a faster cast speed, and that each of my dots has more ticks over their duration. Some boomies like to go into crit chance, so that they have a higher chance of their spells doing extra damage. As you can see, I still have quite a bit of crit, even though I've reforged everything into Haste that I can. But for my arena comp, I'm with a warlock and a disc priest, and that's why I'm going more into the Haste side of things. Obviously, because of the warlock's dots, it just works better. Also, just as a boomy in general in PvP, you're just going to be cycloning, rooting, slowing, and when you can get free casts off, you're going to want them to be as short as possible. So that's obviously why you'd go into Haste as well. But for BGs, it can be just quite fun to go all crit and just see massive damage. So now I'm going to talk about talents. This is basically the stock boomy tree. This is basically what you're going to want to go. A lot of people change up points into the restoration tree and feral combat tree for points in lunar shower and into dream state. Also, some boomies only like to take 2 points into Alpha Frenzy instead of 3. Me personally, this is what I like, and as you get better as a boomie, you're definitely going to want to take points into this talent here, Furor, so that when you go into cat and bear form, which you should be doing a lot, that you're going to have rage and energy when you need it. As I said, some boomies. Okay, for your glyphs, let me just quickly say what I've chosen is for my arena comp and haste reforge. You can switch it up a little bit. Say if you're going a BG thing and you're going crit and you just want massive damage, Glyph of Wrath could be really good for you. Increase the damage down by 10%. But basically, I've chosen Moonfire for more dot damage, Insect Swarm for more dot damage, works really well with the Warlock, and then Star Search. This is probably a must no matter what build, spec, arena comp, BGs you're going. Reduce the cooldown of your Starfall. You really want that. You want your Starfall to be used whenever it's off cooldown, basically because it's good damage. Well, it's not great damage, but it's good damage. It applies a lot of pressure. Also, what I've got is Glyph of Soul Beam, increase the silence effect. Starfall reduces the cooldown. Bark Skin reduces the chance of being critically hit. This is really useful because basically in arena, your healer might call out, okay, go defensive, pop that, less damage. Also, if you're getting Rape Time by 2 melee, pop that, less damage. And then just Glyph of Mark of Wild. These three don't really matter, but Glyph of Dash is quite useful. If you're in arena, you just want to get away, cat form, dash, really useful. Okay, so the first macro I have is an interrupt macro. It basically puts me into cat form, and then another click cast Skull Bash, which is the interrupt. As boomkins, we only have Solar Beam as our interrupt in moonkin form, and you're only going to want to be using this as a root, and followed by a Solar Beam straight away to lock down a healer, silence them, and kill them in arenas or BGs. So I'll show you this macro. So for me, I've got it set to middle mouse button as my interrupt, so I'm going to double click middle mouse button, and that's going to put me into cat form, and then the Skull Bash. So as you just saw there, that was really quick. I was just spamming middle mouse button to get that off. The second macro I have is for mushrooms. Basically what this is a shift modifier macro. So for me, my G is to place a macro, place a mushroom. So I'm going to G place mushroom, G place mushroom, G place mushroom. Then, because it's a shift modifier, basically then I hold shift, press G, and mushrooms blow on. For PvP, mushrooms are essential. A lot of people don't like them, think they do poor damage, etc. Think this is slow as crap. Basically, you're going to have to be using this. It's a must if you're going competitive arenas or BGs. The reason why they're so good is if someone's hiding around a pillar, you can basically lock down the whole pillar by placing them around and then blowing them up. See, as you can see now, that whole area is slowed, so basically kiting around that pillar is going to be absolutely useless for them. Also, if I get stunned by a rogue or something and I'm coming out of that,
I just spam this, spam that, and they're slowed, and then travel form away. Then I can either turn around, roots them, cyclone them, knock them back, etc. Okay, so now I'm just going to talk about rotation, playstyle, and a few tricks I picked up with PvP Moonkin along the way. Basically, for rotation, there's no set rotation for PvP because obviously it's always changing, it depends what's going on. You're going to need to listen to your team, getting cyclones off, silencers off, roots is off, slows off. But basically, for rotation, you're going to want to always have Moonfire and Insect Swarm up on the target you're going, and also I like to put it on the other enemies in the arena just to get pressure and also more Star Surge procs. Other than that, you can use Starfall to apply pressure with your trees and trinket, or you can just use it whenever it's up. If you're good, you'll realise that basically if you have a Star Surge proc and your Starfall's up, you're going to want to use Starfall first, put it on cooldown, then use Star Surge to reduce the cooldown of the Starfall. A real obvious thing would be if you're wrathing to get to Lunar Eclipse, don't do a Starfire halfway through because that's just going to set you back. So other than that, for your rotation, it's basically dots on enemies, trying to get a cast off whenever you can, otherwise it's just CC, really is the key for arenas. Playstyle for a boomy, there's really not too much to say. I'd say stay back, see how the action, try and free cast whenever you can, but obviously if you're in arena, listen to your arena teammates to find out who you need a cyclone, who you need a roots. Obviously you can make the call yourself, either if you're going the healer, you're going the DPS, depending on what you're going to do. But if you can pretend this thing here is a pillar, I'll show you what you need to do. You need to put mushrooms around the pillar, because what's going to happen a lot of the times, you're going to have a mage who's sitting back over here just blasting on you while the healer's kiting around. So if you can put mushrooms all around the pillar, you're basically slowing them. So all through here they're going to be slowed, it's going to stuff up the kite, you're going to be able to get on them, you're going to be able to get the roots off, and you're going to be able to lock them down and kill them. For a few tips and tricks that I've picked up whilst playing a Moonkin, one would be Organs are a really good race with their racial dark flight. Basically I can go into travel form, use dark flight, and increase my speed a lot, so I can get away really quick. Also then I can go into cat form and then cast sprint. I can't do it at the moment because I've already got dark flight on. As soon as that's off, bang, again sprint. So really that's two sprints that you've got. Obviously you can use them coincide, so they're sharing cooldown. But then as well, another trick that a lot of people probably don't know is you can go into bear form and then cast stampeding rule, or even cat form and then cast stampeding rule like this. It's going to sprint you again, but then even when you go into boomkin form, it's still going to be sprinting. So boomkin can sprint around quite a fair bit. That's one of the tricks I've learned. Another trick that some people like to do is they roots a target and then put 3 mushrooms underneath them and then blow the mushrooms up. I find this to be good, but then again I find it to be very unreliable, and you sort of have to have your trinket up and use it at that point for it to do much damage. Also I don't find it to be that good because the slow, it doesn't stack, if that makes sense. Like putting 3 mushrooms on top of each other is not going to slow them to the shits. It's still just going to be as if there's only 1 mushroom. So that's my trick there, and if you do like to do that or not, obviously there's this test on about that. If you guys know Thargar, he showed that and it has got some really nice damage, but me preferably, I don't really like it. Next thing is really good is hibernate. If you see a shaman in ghost form, hibernate him. If you see a water elemental, hibernate it. A beast, hunter pet, hibernate it. Like tell your team, tell them you're hibernating the thing, tell them not to attack it, and then it's going to be stuffed for like 40 seconds. Also remove corruption. You can get a really nice add-on. I think Healbot's one of them. It's just going to boom, flash your screen, like use remove corruption. Like there's a curse or a poison effect on you, remove corruption. Soothe effect, dispelling all the range effects. That's useful. This is probably a really advanced Moonkin thing. Again, add-on can show like when you can use soothe to say like use soothe now to soften them up, take away the range effect. Like on a warrior, it's really useful. Innovate with the talents, with the dream state talent. I can get some crazy innovate is going. So basically, I'm never going to go. It's really useful. You should be using innovate in arenas. If your healer is low on mana, use innovate on them. You probably don't think it, but if you have more mana than the other team, it really applies pressure, and they feel as if they're going to lose because you obviously have more mana, so they think that you're going to outlive them. Rebirth in arenas, don't think you can use it, but if you can, that'd be crazy. Try that. Fairy Fire, always make sure you're using that on a rogue or a fell druid. Spam that as soon as you can see the rogue, before you do anything else, even just one. So like, say you just know as soon as that rogue comes out stealth, my job is to cyclone him, make sure you get the Fairy Fire off first, just to stuff up him from going stealth. Never want him to go stealth. Another thing I haven't covered is bear form stun. Basically for me, I have X into bear form, and then tab is my stun. If you just pretend that was actually a target, I'd just be spamming tab, and that would stun them. You're gonna want to be using this if you're serious about moving. It's a must. It's a really good stun. So you can basically just you can run in travel form, go bear form, stun, back into booming, and keep going. Really useful. Make sure you're using that. Tranquility, big must. A lot of boomies don't use it. Don't know how powerful it is. It's really good. If you're getting raped on an arena and it's like shit, holy crap, tranquility. It'll most likely save your life. So that's my main PvP guide, guys. I hope you liked it. Please like and favorite the video. Check out our channel for more videos on this sort of stuff. There should be a Holy Paladin healing video coming out soon if you're interested in that. Otherwise, thanks for watching.